JB, you guys led most of the first half, obviously with Fasar in foul trouble. They made a little bit of a run in the third. How did you guys get hold of this one again in the fourth quarter?
We just settled in. I think, as that was happening, they started to pick up their pressure a little bit more. We got a little sped up, but we found our resolve, got back to who we are. And talking about that, it's like moment to moment, right? Like, don't hang on to things that have happened in the past and don't look in the future. Just make the right play right now. And I thought our guys did that down the stretch.
Hey, Coach, I know you guys were not surprised by the effort the Cavs will make to try to get to the line a little bit more, but how are you guys able to compartmentalize that, stay true to your defensive effort, and not let the frustration that we saw at times get the best of y'all?
We have to be who we are. Were there some whistles that we disagree with? Yeah, of course. But we can't allow that to take us out of our game and do what we do. That's put us in the position that we're in now. We have to stay true to our identity, continue to be physical, continue to be handsy, and then just wear on you. And that's what our objective is to fatigue you as much as we possibly can and make you have to play through as much legal contact as you can.
JB, it seems like in the postseason, the word a lot of the time is urgency. But when you have guys like Ron and Danis, that it took some time and some patience, like working to get to where they can be such large contributors, just how do they balance that, and have you seen them be ready for that moment?
They're taking advantage of the opportunities, and they're willing to listen, and they can take experience and learn from it quickly. And, when you got young guys who are doing things for the first time, playing in these situations, it's not going to be perfect. But what we judge them on is their effort base. And if they're giving us all they got, then we'll stick with them and give them a chance to play through some of the bumps and bruises, because we trust in them that, they're going to get through it and they'll be better for it.
I know we talk about Tobias' composure a lot. You call him your safety blanket going back to last season. But what is it about him that just allows him to thrive in that role?
Confidence. And there's no insecurity in who he is. And when you don't have those insecurities, in the moment, you can play free and you trust the work that you've put in, because you know how much time you've put in over the years to do what you do. And trusting he's got a spot. He knows his game, right? There's so many guys that think dribble is a game, right? And Tobias knows he's going to get you in the post. He might back you down. He might face you up, but he's going to get to the same spot and raise up and knock it down.
Another question about Tobias, just really going back to when he came here, how much has he meant to this team on and off the court?
The world. I can't put it into words. I've tried before, but, we're not in this position if it isn't for him. And, not just because of the basketball talent, his leadership, his willingness to show people what preparation looks like. How do you take care of yourself? How do you eat? What do you do in the weight room? Like, how do you work on your game? He's a role model for our guys. And if you don't have that, from your veteran players, it's hard for young guys to grow and grow the right way. And he enabled us to do that.
JB, two things. First, is this team developing something or changing over the course of these 5 wins as they get one more in their pocket in the playoffs? And secondly, can you just comment about how Cade kind of kicked it in the fourth gear and what that means?
Yeah, I think, it's the understanding of what the moment calls for. And that's what this group is finding. It's not always a shot. I think that's what, a lot of times you grow up, it's offense, but we found rebounds, we found deflections, we found steals, we guarded a pick and roll the right way, right? So it's like understanding what the moment calls for, and then being able to execute it in the moment. And then, Cade is just fabulous. He's the killer, closer, all the adjectives you want to talk about, like he's it. And in the fourth quarter, he does his best work.
Kind of going back to Cade, you've seen a lot about his defensive work.
Danny. Hey, Kenny, you guys took a 81-79 lead early in the fourth quarter. From that point on, you were outscored 28-16. How come you weren't able to build upon that momentum early in the quarter?
I really wish I had the film. I could watch it real quick, but I think the thing that stood out to me was the offensive rebounds. I think they had 8 offensive rebounds in that fourth quarter, and that's a lot. The rebounding was, I thought we got some good stops, made some good defensive plays, and then we couldn't come up with the rebound. I thought the big one was out of the timeout. We said, man, just we got to get this, our box out responsibilities on the free throw, and they miss, they get the offensive rebound, and they score. So I don't know. We got to fix our rebounding. I think that's the main thing. I will say the positive about this: we +3 in the possession game. We gave ourselves a chance. Unfortunately, it was not a night where we shot the ball well. 7 for 32 from 3. That was a factor too.
You guys trailed by as many as 14 tonight. You've fallen behind by double digits in 7 of the last 8 games that you played. How come this team is seemingly always fighting an uphill battle?
I know, and Danny, not a great start, for that starting group. So, we know the deal here. We got to look at everything. Is there a jolt from somewhere? We just got to look at everything. We tried to change up our coverages, tried to be a little more aggressive to get our mojo going. I don't know what it is with the start of games. I mean, they came out super aggressive, of course, but it's playoffs. So obviously haven't figured that one out. Still back to the drawing board.
What are you seeing from James right now? 3 of 13, didn't score in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I feel, on me. He took 2 shots in the second half. I'll put that on me. We tried to, I think the idea in the second half was to push the pace, and try to play quicker and get the ball up the court. And he was doing a great job getting off it. But our offense isn't at a point now, like when him and Don should get off it, it should come back to them at some point. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that didn't, both him and Don, didn't kind of circle back to him. So we got to look at it. We can't have our Hall of Famer taking 2 shots in the second half. I'll take that one.
Don was able to get going a little bit more tonight. Kind of what did you see from him, and kind of as far as him and James sort of working together, is there something as far as synergy to get those guys both?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get them both going. I thought Don was super aggressive tonight, driving the ball, right? I don't know how many threes he made. I don't care. He was in the paint. He lived in the paint. We talked about it pregame, how important that is for him. I think I'm pretty sure we have more free throws than them. Is that correct? I think so. So I thought we were aggressive to the paint. So that was a positive too. But again, I think Don had a good, his drive rate was higher tonight. Paint rate was higher.
JT and Dennis gave you a huge lift there in the second half. Did you have any consideration of maybe closing with them at that point?
Thought about it.
Yeah.
Especially Dennis, another ball handler. And the thing is, when you do that, there's not a great Cade matchup, the way they're set up. So that was, I think it was still a 4 or 5 point game. Kind of wanted to keep the Dean matchup with them or the Max, just keep some size on them. So I was afraid of downsizing because we were getting kind of destroyed on the boards. So, but you could argue offensively, we could have used that. Dennis was really good handling the ball for us.
And then Tobias has really been getting downhill and getting to his spots these first couple games. Is there anything that you guys can do better? I know you guys have all that attention on Cade, but he seems like he's hurting you guys.
Yeah, he's hurting us in the post. I think he's hurting us on closeouts too. We're scrambling, and he's hurting us on closeouts, and he's hitting timely threes. So he's been he's played great in these first 2 games. I'll just say I think we found some stuff tonight that gives us some positive feeling going into game 3. Tactically, and then like I said, despite that fourth quarter rebounding, I thought we won the possession game +3. Only 2 turnovers in the second half, so a lot of positives in that second half.
Kenny,
okay.
You mentioned pushing the pace in the second half. For you guys, it felt like those offensive sets were developing early in that second half. What felt different after halftime, and maybe how did you approach going into that second half in terms of getting your offense operating?
Yeah, I think it was pace in everything we do, right? Not just in the fast break, pace in our cuts, pace in our movement off the ball, all of it. And higher outlets, all of it. And I think that helped us. I think we helped us get out of their clutches. First half we're kind of bogged down. They're high pickup points. We're having trouble, creating separations. And second half too, I felt like we got stops too, right? That frees you from getting out and running when the ball's going in all the time. It's harder.
And then your bigs, Jarrett, felt like he had a really solid game. Yeah. I felt like there was some ups and downs for Evan in different capacities. What did you see from them, and what did you like from them?
I love both of them. Going to keep doubling down on playing those guys, especially together. I just implore both of them to rebound better, right? Like, and it's not just on them. I don't want to put those 8 offense over you, but them and the collective, we have to make a commitment to rebound better, and it's just that simple. You get really good stops in that fourth quarter, and the second chance opportunities. It just takes the wind out of your sail. You play for 18 seconds and a shot clock miss offense, and I know that's their strength, but we got to do a better job negating it, and it that starts with those guys, our big guys, and then our guards got to do a better job rebounding.
Kenny, you mentioned tough deal for the Cavs, now down in their series 2-0. Donovan Mitchell, 23 points in game number 1, followed up with 31 in a game 2 loss. We expect to hear from the Cavs star in just minutes here on The Association.
The Association is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. New users can bet $1 to boost their next 10 wagers by 100%. Must be 21 or older. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms.